For reforging, you're going to want to prioritize spirit, then crit, then mastery, then haste. For gems, you're going to want to go for the socket bonuses. For red gem sockets, use the potent Vermillion onyx, the int/crit gem. For yellow and blue sockets, you're going to want to use the Misty Wild jade. It's the spirit/crit gem. If your spirit is at a comfortable level, you can go ahead and use potent, the int/crit gem, for the yellow sockets instead. For your meta, use Revitalizing Primal Diamond. It gives about 400 spirit and increases your crit damage by 3%. What that means is that instead of hitting for 200% damage when you crit, you will instead hit for 203% damage. It's a pure 3% more damage on crits, which you should be doing often. For enchants, if you have a profession-related one, you're obviously going to want to use that one over the ones I say. For shoulders, you're going to want the Greater Crane Inscription. It gives you about 200 int and 100% crit, perfectly itemized. For your cloak, you want the Superior Intellect, which gives you 180 int. There is a crit option that gives you 180 crit, but unlike the gems, the secondary stat does not beat out the primary stat 2 to 1. In this case, it's a 1 to 1, so the 180 int is clearly superior. For your chest, if you want to do more damage, take Glorious Stats. If not, take Mighty Spirit. It gives you 200 spirit, which beats out the Glorious Stats 80 Intellect and 80 Stam. Way more than 2 to 1. For wrist, Super Intellect. The other options don't even come close. For gloves, Superior Mastery. The only other option is haste, and it gives the same amount. For legs, Greater Pearlescent Spell Thread. 285 int and 165 crit. Just great. For boots, you're going to want to take Pandora Step. It gives you 140 mastery and 8% move speed increase, which is vital for raiding. But if you know for sure that you're going to run Inner Wheel or Inner Fire all the time, you can just use Greater Haste instead. It gives you 175 haste, 35 more stats than Pandora Step. Offhand, Major Intellect. Now for the main hand. There is no clear healer weapon enchant, so this topic is debated a lot. Some people use the old weapon enchant from Cataclysm that gives about 180 spirit on average throughout the fight, because it procs all the time. According to Blizzard though, Jade Spirit Equalized should give about 396 intellect, and additionally has a 750 spirit proc when you proc the spell under 25% mana, which results in about 45 spirit equalized, assuming you are under 25% mana for 25% of the fight. This is using the 12-second buff duration and 50-second internal cooldown, assuming you proc it as soon as it comes off cooldown. Windsong is a bit trickier to evaluate since it can provide 3 possible buffs, 1500 of either crit, mastery, or haste. Each has its own separate internal cooldown, and multiple buffs can be active on the player at one time. It has a 1 proc per minute, with a 1-second cooldown between each individual stat proc. This puts each stat at about 20% uptime, which means the enchant is roughly worth 300 of each, mastery, crit, and haste. So what it really averages out to is Jade Spirit is equal to about 430 intellect, and Windsong is equal to about 900 secondary stats. So it falls into the gem category of the secondary stats beating the primary stats 2 to 1. In this case, it's actually a little bit more than 2 to 1. That being said, I like the damage boost that Jade Spirit gives to Atonement, but Windsong is technically better, but I use Jade Spirit.